Alright, this is the Joker fanfiction Agony by wbss21, Chapter 1, Part 1. He pushed his hand against the rain-slicked brick of the building, digging his fingers inward, as though trying to latch tight to some invisible grip hold. He attempted for the third time to rise to his feet, only for his knees to buckle again, and once more he fell to the grim, leaden, wet street below. "Damn it," he mumbled, his voice a whisper. He lifted his eyes, looking ahead, the rain obscuring the visibility beyond a few feet. It had started to come down hard in just the last minute. "Gah!" he gasped, sucking in sharply at the stabbing pain which shot suddenly unforgiving up his right-hand side. This was absurd, he thought wearily. Normally he would enjoy it, but it seemed everything lately had been turned on its head. He giggled at the irony of it, even though it tore through his body like fire. It had always been they who had crawled away, terrorized and in agony. It had always been he making his grand exit, not because he needed to, no, because he wanted to. Now it was just the opposite of all that. It wasn't that he was scared, not like them. He wasn't. He was angry, and he'd be damned if he let those mongoloid cretins, security guards, and the power-hungry sadistic leader end him. He laughed once more at the ridiculousness of it. He had at least deserved to go down in a blaze of burning glory against the one man who earned the right to put him down. Bastards! Who in God's name did they think they were, anyway? His breathing was ragged, coming in short, rapid bursts. He needed to get the hell off the street before he came. Now wasn't the time. He'd only bring him back, and that just wouldn't do. Again he attempted to rise, his hands shooting out for the wall as his head spun in dizzying circles. This was such a quandary. He'd willed himself from the asylum and into the city, but it had taken every ounce of what little strength he had left, and now he was sitting here, an open target, practically offering himself up for capture. He knew if returned he probably would die. He laughed. How shamefully pathetic, he spoke aloud. He would have to repay the doctor in kind, he thought. If ever he was able to nurse himself back to health, things at the moment were looking less than promising. Somehow he managed to stay on his feet for longer than a few fleeting seconds, but his body ached worse than when he had been beaten by billy clubs, much worse, and he was nauseous, saliva filling his mouth. He was certain he was going to be sick as the world around him seemed to rotate in circles. There was an alleyway some 100 yards up, he gouged, though it was hard to tell. "Well, move!" he said, disgusted at his body's weakness. But the first step he took forward, his legs gave way, and once again he fell to the ground, his face hitting the pavement hard. He moaned in pain. "Oh, that's gonna leave a mark." He giggled against the cold of the sidewalk, water and dirt filling his mouth along with the taste of his own blood. "Joker?" He heard the voice somewhere above him. "Philly sticks," he sighed, softly pushing himself with great effort onto his hands and knees. He began crawling away, knowing the action was useless, but he wasn't about to give in so easily. He had a reputation to maintain. Alright, that's the end of that chapter, and I'll read the second one, I don't know when, probably very soon.